Ask Alec.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Alec Torelli. I'm bringing you this video from 30,000 feet. I'm flying from Bangkok to Hong Kong to Milan on the beautiful Cathay Pacific first class. For those of you guys who want more access to my travels, lifestyle, and what's up on the road, I opened a new YouTube, Aces Abroad. Check it out. You can just type in Aces Abroad on YouTube or click the link below. And I'm showcasing all of my travels for Asia over the last month, putting out 3 episodes a week. And it's really awesome stuff. I think you guys are going to love it. Back to today's episode of Ask Alec. It's a question from one of my readers, John, who's asking about how does he create an ideal life surrounded around poker. And while this is a huge question, it is the first lesson module of my course, 4-Step Poker. So I'm basically pulling this exactly from that. So if you like this style of content and you're looking for a little more insight into taking your poker game to the next level, becoming a pro, and building an awesome life around poker, that course is definitely right up your alley. So, John, it's a big question, and the first step that I sort of give my clients and readers when I do coaching or whatever is they should first figure out why they play poker. And I know it sounds like an obvious question. People are like, oh, I like the game, it's fun, it's exciting. But if you think a little bit deeper, most people are, in my experience in coaching, are drawn to poker because of the freedom and the lifestyle that poker allows them to have. And when you approach it with that foundation or that level of understanding, then I think the world sort of opens up, and you realize, okay, well, you know, what I want out of poker, more than just to have fun at the table punting around gambling, is to be able to create something that's truly epic for me. And that may mean something different to everybody, but identifying exactly what that is really step one. And once you have that, once you have what that means to you, like, okay, I want to be able to travel more often with my family, I want to be able to work remotely, I want to be able to live in this different place, now you start to have benchmarks for what success means. Sorry, ears popping. Now you start to have benchmarks for what success means. And now you could really do something exciting. Now it's like you have the foundation of what you're trying to create. And that's when things get really exciting. So the next step is, so the most important thing about this exercise, and where people here I think go wrong, is they're not specific enough. They're just like, oh, I want more freedom and flexibility. I want a little bit more money. Oh, I want to be able to travel more. But that's not enough. It's like the people that take a job in the rat race and say, well, I want to make more money so I could retire. And then they end up just extending the definition of more until they die, because they didn't define what exactly they want. So I'm super hard on my clients. I'm super specific. And I'm like, look, I want like a friggin' business plan about what you want, right? That's the level of detail I'm looking for. Like, pretend it's like a business plan. Like, I want to, 3 trips a year for 3 weeks each. I want to live in the south of France for a month every spring. Like, I'm talking about that level of detail, because once you have that, everything else is easy to plan. And without that, planning becomes impossible, and it just becomes this vague idea, and then it ends up turning into nothing actionable. So once you have these clearly defined pillars for what lifestyle design means for you, what epic life means for you, then we have something to build on. The second step is really to get real with what does this cost fiscally. And most people, and most of my experience, is that people think it costs more than it does. And I believe it doesn't cost a lot of time. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It costs a lot of time. Going to live in for example, I'll use one of my bucket list items. I love NT. We went there on our honeymoon. I love the south of France. I've been there many times, lived there for a while. That was one of the things on my bucket list, was like, I want to live in the south of France for a month. But it doesn't cost like a lot of money. It costs a lot of time. You have to allocate a month of your life to, not working or not making money or being remote. But the cost of doing it, if depending on what your goals are, could be like $1,500 for rent, $2,000, and some flights. It's not like an impossible amount of money to achieve, but it's just difficult perceptually to say I'm going to live somewhere else for a month. But once you have what you want, you need to figure out exactly what it costs financially and what it costs out of your time and your lifestyle. And then you want to get this down on paper, right? So you want to have these different pillars, these things that for you would be epic, right? To make poker be worth playing, right? What would make poker worth the sacrifice for? What would make it all worth it? Then you have these 3 things, right? 3 or 4 things. You can only focus on a couple at one time. So I would say pick 3 things and then outline exactly how much each of these are going to cost you from the different currencies, time and money. Then once you have that, you're in pretty good shape. You want to then look at, third step is look at your current financial situation and say, how much am I spending? And where can I either, there's only 2 ways to get more money. You can make more or save more, right? It's not that complicated. It's like there's not that many ways to do this. So you look at what you're spending. And in my experience, again, coaching, working with clients one-on-one is like almost everyone is spending more than they think. And it's easier for them to save significant amounts of money with little lifestyle changes. And the reason why this might seem counterintuitive is because what gets measured gets managed. And most people don't measure where their money's going. And so they think that they're spending less than they do. They think that like their life costs more than it actually does. And they mistake necessary for discretionary. So a lot of shit in your life is discretionary. TV is discretionary. That's not necessary. That's like a luxury. It's like you don't need TV. And if you're watching this saying, oh yeah, but I mean, what am I going to do without my TV? Acknowledge that is your priority. And if your priority is your TV, that's fine. If your priority is living in the south of France, that's fine. I'm not saying one's better or worse, but you have to acknowledge that that's the priority. Where your money is spent is a significant or representative of your priorities. It's the ultimate definition, because without that, it just doesn't work. So the way I would suggest doing this is very simple. You just take an Excel spreadsheet, or you take a notebook around, or you put every dollar you spend on a credit card for a week is probably the easiest way to do it, and just measure where every single dollar goes. Now, the one caveat to this exercise that I always get people hung up with is what gets measured gets managed. So when they start measuring the amount of money they're spending, they consciously say, well, I don't want to buy this, or I don't normally buy this, or some other excuse. And then they end up not buying things that they would normally buy if they weren't measuring them. So I highly encourage you to just spend normally for a week, and also to understand, secondly, that there is no such thing as a normal week. So if it's a friend's birthday, that's normal. That's just part of normal life. It might not be his birthday every week, but it'll be someone else's birthday. Or it'll be some other Christmas or Thanksgiving where you need to buy a gift. Or it'll be some party that you're going out to on Friday. That's normal life. So every week is normal. And just measure it out for a week or two and see it. And then look at your list and say, which one of these things can I cross off? I almost guarantee you, I would be willing to bet almost every one of you can save 20% of what you're spending. And if you take that money and you start allocating it towards something that's meaningful, like something that you actually want on your bucket list, instead of this stuff that you're just habitually doing because you've set these habits, what you're spending is your current habit. If you create new habits, you create a new lifestyle. So if you just start changing your habits and saving that money and then reallocating it over here, sometimes you don't even have to make more money. Sometimes it's as simple as that. So once you have this sort of system that's automated, that's working for you, right? And then the last step, I would say step 4, is to set up automated transfers from different bank accounts to have your paycheck or your money or your poker bankroll go from one account automatically to another. So savings happen first, and you're building up money every month towards your long-term lifestyle goal so that you feel like you're making progress, right? So that you can measure that over time and you can see that it's not going to take me 6 years to take that amazing trip, or I don't have to wait till I'm 65 to do something cool with my life, and you see the progress happening all the time. So then once you have that, now you can go back to poker, right? So now we haven't even talked about poker, because poker's really not that important. Poker is reverse engineering this process. So once you have all this stuff, then you figure out, okay, how much does my life cost on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, whatever? How much do I need to make per hour playing poker based on the hours that I can dedicate? So that's the process. Poker is the last step. It's really not that important. It's reverse engineering what you really want, what you're trying to get out of poker, and then going back to the table and saying, how many hours do I need to play? How much is it going to cost? And how long is it going to take me to achieve my dreams? So that's the process I use for all my clients. Again, this is like basically just pulled right out of 4-Step Poker. So if you like this content, check that out on my website, alectorelli.com. I really think you guys will like this course. Not trying to hard sell you, but basically just pulled this out of there. I hope that's it for this video. I hope you guys like it. If you do, subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. Again, if you guys want more of this style of content, check out my YouTube channel. Sorry, I just landed and the fucking thing just dropped. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you guys like this content, subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. Give it a thumbs up. And again, if you want more of the travel lifestyle stuff, you want to see how I live my life and how I built some of the things that I'm talking to you guys about, like how I got here, Cathay Pacific first, check out my YouTube channel, Aces Abroad. It's all there. I think you guys are going to love it. Thanks for watching. Peace.